I was in the exploratory phases of research. I had an idea, sort of a novel technique of how to save water without impacting grapes and the vines that produce them.
Hi, I'm Greg Mills with Northwest Public Broadcasting, and I am here with Pete Jacoby, who is a WSU professor of crops and soil sciences, and this is X-Connect Northwest, connecting you to the experts. And today we've got an expert in soil sciences, and even more specifically, in the science of watering soil and saving a whole lot of water in the process. Let's talk a little bit about the process that you've been working on over the last number of years. I will confess that it was about 3 years ago that you and I had an opportunity in a little different setting to be out in the fields where you were doing the research for this. Talk to us about what I saw then and what you've been working on.
So from 2015 through 2017, 3 growing seasons, we tested our proof of concept to see how well this system worked. And surprisingly, and then not so surprisingly, it was confirmed that yes, it could save water. It could save a lot of water. Most of the water out of many of our river systems, such as the Yakima, pretty much fully adjudicated, which means the water is spoken for. Mm-hmm. And so in short years like we had in 2015, some growers didn't get water for almost 3 weeks. Well, that's pretty tough on crops when you have to divert water for other uses. So the Washington wine industry has recognized that water efficiency is really important because our water sources are limited, and so we have to make the most of that. And we either have to convert crops to wine grapes or something that's fairly efficient rather than use high water use plants, or we have to find more efficient methods. And so I chose the latter.
Yes, you did.
And I like the growers involved in that industry very much, and they've been very, very supportive to me.
So the type of irrigation that you've developed is a direct root zone, is what you call it, right?
I gave it that, sort of coined that title about 2016. We applied water from 1 foot below the soil surface down to 4 feet. And we had interesting results. With wine grapes, I chose just the top 3 feet to deal with. And typically what happens to wine grapes when they're surface irrigated, they tend to develop most of the root system right in the top profile of the soil, maybe the first 18 inches. So this allows that water to be evaporated off. A lot of it can be lost that way. Also weeds and other non-crop plants take a good share of that water. Mm-hmm. So I thought by delivering it at depth, we could save water. So I chose to deliver the water through a tube, a vertical tube that we drilled a hole in the ground, inserted just a piece of PVC, and delivered the water from a secondary hose that was suspended along the above ground on a trellis wire.
You have achieved what sort of percentages in water savings?
Well, we have achieved about a 34% on our first test, our first 3 years, the concept proposal.
You have the opportunity not to be putting the rivers and water sources in such peril on a yearly basis if it becomes something that's industry-wide. Do you see it taking off that way?
I think it's going to be slow.
Yeah.
Typically, there are early adopters of this technology, and there are people out there willing to try things, and then they have to be legitimized, typically by the industry. And when you get major growers then starting to put it in, then it's hard to keep up, because we've not only been able to save water, we have seen an increase in the quality of the grapes. And what we're achieving here in a way by putting less water, even if it's down deep in the roots, we can make these grapes stressed through what they call deficit irrigation. And so if you could put it on much deeper and control that degree of stress in a moderate sort of way, your vines would probably achieve a higher quality. And that's one explanation I have for the quality of the grapes that we're getting from these treatments.